This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code DETROIT to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and sitting right across from me, coming off a fun weekend where the Lions lost, is my boy Andrew's going to give us this week's topics.
Yeah, fun for you. Abysmal defense and a controversial play call resulted in our Lions loss on Sunday. This time with John Gruden and the Raiders. Is this a jumping ship point for Lions fans? We'll also discuss the troubling injury situation with our basketball team. It's the Fan Report.
Well, what's the fun for you comment supposed to be about?
I stayed at home studying all week.
I mean, I tried calling your ass on Saturday night to hang out.
Yeah.
After I got home, and you just never responded.
I went and got there with the parents, and then I literally just passed out.
Apparently, at like 9 o'clock. I'm like sitting at home. I left my shoes on for like 25 minutes when I walked in the door too, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going out to the bar. I'm gonna have some fun, and then nothing. Radio silence for the rest of the night. I'm like, what the hell, man?
It's amazing how tired you can get not leaving your house.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's amazing how tired you can get by napping.
I think it's the mental fatigue of just like staring at computers and books all day.
Excuse me, that's my job. So fun little story before we get started. I burned myself at work today.
With what?
A screw.
Were you just rubbing it against a desk until it got hot and then just like touch yourself with it?
I'll tell you more about it later because I don't want to get too much into it. I have a little burn on my finger. I'm okay, just for all the viewers out there that are concerned, but I'm good. I'll explain in a little bit, but anyway, so let's go ahead and jump into things. So we want to kind of there's some things to talk about from this game. Mm-hmm. Another week where we couldn't get the run game going. Granted, what personnel do we have back there? Another week of Matthew Stafford playing a near perfect game outside of a couple of bad reads. And coming up short. Another game where the defense just was absolutely abused, not only by Josh Jacobs in the running game of Oakland, who put up 171 yards on us. Yeah. But Derek Carr had a really good game as well. And that's not a good thing. When Derek Carr is having a good game, you messed up.
You know what's annoying?
What?
I had a fantasy lineup, FanDuel lineup that was beautiful. I started Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs in my FanDuel lineup. I also started Kenny Galladay.
There you go.
I had a really nice lineup going.
You would have really liked that last touchdown, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I check around 2:30 to see how the lineup's doing. It never submitted.
Oh,
it said because I need to add funds, so I added the funds. It said funds added, lineup submitted.
Man,
never actually submitted.
You bum! I always double check that shit. Always double check that.
I said it like 7:30 in the morning too.
I'd have woken up at 8, double check that shit. I always do. You bum. You.
Sorry, I had 5 other leagues I had to check on.
You rookie gambler. You rookie gambler. You. What a rook.
Sorry, I had 5 other leagues I had to check on.
What a rook. Oh man. But obviously there are some things we can talk about from the game. You had the defense once again be absolute piss poor, and then you had a retraction from what seemed like strides made in the defensive play calling last week to reverting back to the norm of rushing 3 guys every single damn play and not getting any pressure on one of the worst quarterbacks under pressure in the league. Explain that one to me, please, Andrew.
And allowing a stud rookie running back just run all over you.
I mean, the dude's a stud. He's run over a lot of good teams.
But you don't want to allow him to just run. You want to actually stack the box a bit on him and try to.
They ran the ball 36 times. Yeah. That's a lot, man.
They're gonna take what we give them, and we gave them running.
Clearly, we gave them a lot. But it's inexcusable in my mind to be staring in the eyes of a quarterback that is very obviously quite literally terrible under pressure and under duress. He is a bad quarterback when he's pressured in Derek Carr and not putting pressure on him. Rushing 3, rushing 4 on occasion, and that's not even an often occasion. Not using blitz packages whatsoever to get in his face and force some problems. The dude threw no interceptions, and he's a guy who you can force to throw interceptions if you just put pressure on him.
Yeah.
And we said it a couple of weeks ago when, Paul Pasqualoni's got to go. Well, here we are again saying Paul Pasqualoni's got to go, but you know what? I don't think it's going to happen this year. Reason being, he's Matt Patricia's boy. Patricia's not going to fire his mentor and his boy, and this is why you don't hire your friends.
Yeah.
This is why you don't bring in your friends to work with you. Because if they don't perform, how are you going to get rid of them? You going to ruin a relationship like that? I don't think he wants to. Patricia seems like a nice guy. He likes his friends. He likes his family. He doesn't want to burn that bridge. Will he? I'd hope so. I'd hope that they would the situation would remain strictly professional and they would keep their friendship separate. But regardless, it's a bad situation to be in. You don't hire your friends. You don't hire your mentors. You just you make your own path and you create your own deal. And it's a mistake, and I don't even think it's just in my mind anymore, but it was a mistake to hire Paul Pasqualoni because scheme-wise, it's a nightmare on defense. It's a total and utter nightmare to watch this defense week in and week out with the amount of talent that they have and the amount of money that they put in this defense, the amount of draft resources they put into this defense. And what do we got to show for it? The 31st ranked defense in the league?
Is Paul Pasqualoni really the one calling the plays, or is it Matt Patricia on defense?
As far as I know, the scheme is Paul Pasqualoni's. Obviously, because he's Patricia's mentor, I'm sure they have similar philosophies, let's be honest. But if I recall, I mean, I seem to remember the Patriots blitzing a little bit more a couple of years ago, don't you? That defense was bend, don't break, sure, but not this bad.
Yeah. I don't know, because it just feels like to me like it's Patricia calling the plays, and he brought Pasqualoni on as like a favor, like, hey, you're going to be the pseudo defensive coordinator, but it's really me behind the scenes calling the plays. And I feel like it just doesn't. I don't understand how someone who's a supposed defensive guru can come in and have a defense that looks that bad.
It looks terrible. You know what's a fun fact about? So speaking of the Patriots organization, do you know who calls plays for their defense?
Not sure.
Young Belichick. I meant to look this up the other day to see if there's any...
Belichick's son?
I meant to look this up the other day and see if there's any relation, but he's the cornerbacks coach for the Patriots, if I recall. Hang on just a second. I saw something. I could be wrong, and he could be calling the offensive plays, but I think it was defensive plays they said he was calling. I read it a few days ago, and my memory's garbage, so you know how that goes. Hang on. Let me do this a little bit easier. But I found it kind of interesting that there's another Belichick on the Patriots coaching staff. No idea if there's any relation.
But while you look that up, I think the point that everyone's talking about in this game, and rightfully so, is that final play.
No, Josh McDaniels is their offensive play caller.
Yeah, you said defensive. But
Steve Belichick, sorry.
Is that final play where you're on the 1 yard line with like 8 seconds left on the clock, and you're in a power formation. Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, you two big the two touchdown leaders in the league for receiving touchdowns on the sideline. Obviously, T.J. Hawkinson left the game a couple plays earlier with a possible concussion, so he was being looked at on the sideline. And you run a power formation, 2 running back, 2 tight end set.
A quite large jumbo set. Like, you brought in every tight end you had on the roster that wasn't underneath a tent.
Yeah.
And by the way, he is Bill Belichick's son.
Oh,
He's the
okay.
safety and secondary. He's the safeties and cornerbacks coach.
And the pass goes incomplete to Logan Thomas, your 3rd string tight end. That is who you decide to call the play to for the equalizing score. Well, granted, you make the extra point. But what I'm not understanding here is I feel like there is, at least for Darrell Bevell, there is a
theme that the dude can't call plays in the goal line at the end of the game.
A conceptual misunderstanding of what makes a play action pass work.
You mean a running game that anybody in the world has any sort of respect for?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of necessary.
No one was buying that you were running the ball on the goal line.
Because why would they?
And the only
you average
reason,
2 yards a carry when they don't stack the
only
box.
reason you would line up in that formation and call that play is if your running backs were a threat to pound it in. They are not.
No.
So why not just put your best playmakers out there at the 1 yard line?
Who, mind you, have been torching the Raiders all day.
Yeah. And try to get something done.
And lead the league in our first and second in the league in touchdown receptions.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what's the mindset there?
Yeah.
That's an abysmal play call. And then Patricia comes and tries to save face in the post-game conference of, we're going to have to look at the film, but we run that play in practice all the time, and it was very influential.
I don't even know what that means.
Me neither.
Like, I know what influential means, but what does it mean in that situation? What do you mean by influential?
That they run the play all the time in practice? Wonderful. I'd hope you run all your plays all the time in practice. It's kind of the point of them, right? I mean, Jesus, man, you got to have at least a few, like a bunch of different options on a 4th and goal on the goal line that's a go-to play. On a 4th and goal, think about it in Madden terms, okay?
Yeah.
You got a 4th and goal with the game on the line. Are you running a play that you may not, are you running your best play or not? Because personally, in Madden, and now, I'm just a Madden expert over here, sort of. If I'm in 4th and goal with the game on the line, I'm running my best play. I'm running my money play.
I've run that exact play in Madden, but anyone who plays against me knows I love to run the ball on the goal line.
Yeah.
So it actually works for me because
it's Madden.
Everyone's anticipating that too. Goal line pass plays generally didn't work in Madden, but everyone's anticipating me to run because I normally like to run the ball on the goal line, and I normally pick teams that have the personnel to run the ball on the goal line. But this is going to be a different situation. You are running with tiny-ass Ty Johnson.
The Niners ran a very similar set along the goal line. I don't know if it was this weekend or last, but they were in a very similar set. The jumbo set.
You saw the one that played Emmanuel Sanders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Play this weekend on the goal line. They run the jumbo set.
Thursday, technically.
However, instead of your standard jumbo set, they bring in Emmanuel Sanders to be lined up, hidden behind one of the tight ends on the line. They have a playmaker out there that at the very least makes teams think about it. And then the play was run beautifully to Emmanuel Sanders, and it was a touchdown.
It wasn't just that. They forced a mismatch where they forced a linebacker on Emmanuel Sanders, which
that's money all day.
Yeah.
But
there was nothing.
How do you look at this schematically, knowing that you cannot run the football worth a damn regardless of where you are on the field, and think that a play action play fake is going to work here? First off, it's 4th down. Who the hell's running the ball when you can't run the ball there?
Again, I literally just compared it to me play calling on Madden. That's what I literally just compared it to.
I'll be honest with you. In most situations on 4th and goal from the 1, I'm thinking a pass play or a QB sneak. QB sneak because it can catch him off guard and he's the closest one to the goal line. Or the pass play gives you multiple options for success. A run play gives you one option for success. And the way that your running game is, that becomes 0 options for success because, like I said, you average 2.5 yards a carry not on the like anywhere else in the field when the box isn't stacked.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to go up against a goal line set on defense with the box stacked to all hell with your running game that can't get 2.5 yards or 3 yards a carry on an average down? Nobody was scared of the run. Nobody. And nobody in the stadium had even a worry that the Lions were going to run the football there because they can't. They can't. And they don't have the personnel for it. We cut C.J. Anderson. He was the goal line back. Who do we have now? J.D. McKissick? He's teeny tiny. Ty Johnson, teeny tiny. Paul Perkins, dude sucks. Sorry, Paul Perkins.
We just pulled him from the practice squad last week.
I'm not, like, I've been pretty happy with Darrell Bevel to this point. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I like that he's allowed Matthew Stafford to throw the ball downfield. He's got the highest yards per target in the league. I love that. That's why we have a guy like Matt Stafford back there, John Matthew Stafford back there with the cannon of an arm that he has is to throw the ball downfield. I love that Darrell Bevel lets him open up. How do you make that play call there? How do you make that play call? And how do you not even put your two best weapons on the field?
Is there an argument to be had, or made, I should say, that Darrell Bevel is the worst play caller inside the 5-yard line in the league? May I remind you, Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I know. I mentioned that. He's got a little bit of a track record here for struggling along the goal line in big spots.
So is it fair to say that he could be the worst inside the 5-yard line play
I'll say
caller?
inside the 3. Inside the 2 or the 3.
I'm just looking at our success inside the 5-yard line as a team this year.
Fair.
Because we have not been very successful in there.
I don't understand the play call. I don't understand the package. I don't understand the personnel. I don't understand a single part of that play at all. And you were gifted a timeout to get that play.
Yeah.
Gifted. The Raiders took a timeout. Why? I don't know. It was stupid. But thank you. And then you blew it. Come on, man. I'm a little angry today. I don't even know why.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of like just me being back into the there we go again kind of thing. It's like I'm beyond anger at this. Like, anger was me with this team was me like 4 years ago. Like in college, I used to get really angry at losses, and now it's just like more just what we're back in the same cycle.
Oh, so you're a seasoned Lions fan now. Got it. Okay.
Which gets me to my question for you here is, I had mentioned on the show 2 weeks ago, and then on last week's podcast as well, that in this stretch of 6 games, I'm looking for Lions to go 5-1. And I was saying, I think that one loss is probably going to be either the Cowboys or one of the Bears games. Was not counting, and even though I said Oakland was a dangerous game,
it's always dangerous to go out west.
Was not counting as the one loss because again,
none of the Detroit teams play well when they go out west. Yeah. None of them, and that's like historically.
My question to you is the season over for you as Lions fan? Are you jumping ship on this season? 3-4-1. You are pretty far behind the division. Look at the exact number.
I'll be honest with you. This season has been so taxing on me as a Lions fan that I almost just like don't want to care the rest of the season. Like I know I still will. I know I'll still be cheering for him the rest of the way. And I'm especially cheering for Matthew Stafford because dude's playing his ass off. But I almost don't want to care. This game was so disheartening. The Packers game was so disheartening. The Chiefs game was so disheartening. It's just like I give up.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man, because we're only 8 games or 7 games through the year. 8 games. We're only 8 games through the year. Like we have a whole half of a season left, and well, yes, you're a few games behind the wild card. It's still technically
about
up for grabs.
3.5 games behind the Vikings right now.
But it's still technically up for grabs. It's still there, and you still have another game against them in particular.
But it's a big gap to cover in half the season.
100%. There's not a lot of positives to look forward to. Obviously, parts of their schedule are not going to be easy, especially with the Cowboys. They've got the Packers again. They've got the Vikings again. So those are going to be some tough games. I think the Bears are absolutely putrid, so I think that's 2 dubs right there. But
But do you even have any faith in us being able to beat the Cowboys? Because I think their offense can really just.
Oh, I think their
destroy
offense
us.
can absolutely dismantle us.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think our offense can keep up.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance
Well, we've
we have a
proven
chance
that.
in that game.
Every
Right.
game, our offense has kept
Exactly.
up.
Whereas when it comes to Michigan State football, I feel so bad for the defense usually because they always play so well. And last year in particular, they were one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
But their offense was so abysmal that the defense had to keep them in every game only to sometimes be successful. I feel the same way about the Lions' offense versus their defense. Their offense is very good outside of the running game. The passing game is very good and keeps them in football games. The defense just says, oh well. And it sucks because they have a lot of good personnel back there.
Yeah. I agree.
It's frustrating. And no, I don't necessarily want to say I give up on the season, but damn is my heart struggling to stay in it moving forward. It really is.
That's what I'm saying. Is just like, I think for me personally, yes, mathematically it's not over for you, but we've dug ourselves in such a hole in the division. We haven't shown any signs of really making any meaningful strides in this defense, and we're just getting more and more injured as the season goes on.
No, the defense has not impressed in
there's
pretty
not,
much any game this year.
There's not much I can sell you on, hey, the door is still open for us, kind of like, other than mathematically it's still open for us. But logically, there's not much I can sell you on.
No, because as teams start to look at us and say, hey, they can't run the ball worth a damn, so don't even bother putting anybody in the box. Just put everybody in coverage. They won't be able to throw the ball then. I mean, what are you going to do when that happens? When teams just start playing 3-3-5 on you and you're sitting back with 5 guys in the secondary plus probably a few others, or they're sitting in dime package all day.
That's what I'd be
quarters on us.
I'd be nickel and diming all day with it on defense. Like how I use nickel and diming.
Yeah, I
did.
But I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, if you don't have a versatile offense, teams are gonna adjust to you, and they're gonna be able to put a stop to what's working for you. And clearly, nothing is working on the defense right now. Whereas we thought the secondary had been playing well to start the year. Well, it's been banged up, and they've not succeeded in the last game. Obviously, the Giants, they did all right, but they actually put pressure on the quarterback in that game. So I don't understand the mindset of not putting pressure on a quarterback. Like, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, or Derek Carr. Put pressure on the damn dude.
Agreed.
Like, I don't care who it is. Do what you got to do to get in the backfield and ruin the rhythm. That's what you do. It's 2019 football. It's the NFL. Come on, man. It's so frustrating to watch them rush 3 men every play.
Oh my god. I just don't know. Is this the worst Lions defense that you've seen since the 0-16 season? Maybe even before the 0-16 season. Because our defense was bad in the 0-16 season.
I feel like there was one I'll be honest with you, last year's defense until we got Snacks was this bad. Last year's defense was terrible until we got Snacks. And, well, they just picked up where they left off. But this time with Snacks.
Yeah.
Boy, it sucks.
So I looked it up. So it's actually kind of surprised me a little bit. I did a little bit of research just to see where we rank in points allowed with the rest of the league. We're actually 8th worst.
In what?
Points allowed.
Yeah, no, the points allowed defense isn't, it's bad.
Which surprises me.
Yards allowed, they're 31st in the league. Though.
Obviously, teams like the Dolphins are behind you. The Giants or Redskins.
Congratulations, you're better than the Giants, Redskins, and Dolphins. Whoop-de-doo.
The Falcons.
Those teams are quite literally tanking on purpose.
The Falcons, the Cardinals. The 2 that surprised me, though, is Tampa and Seattle. Now, Tampa's defense is great, but their run defense is might be the best
defense
in the
is
league.
very stingy. However, they give up like 1,000 yards a game through the air. So,
and the Seahawks, I know their defense isn't great, but I thought they were better than us.
No, their defense is not very good either. I mean, yikes, dude! Like, it's rough. It's rough to watch that defense every single play because they almost look, because they're rushing through, they almost look uninspired on some plays. It's like, why even bother trying if you're those 3 guys? Because 2 of you are getting doubled.
Yeah.
every play. You have no chance to get back there. And that's just it makes zero sense in my mind. And because of that, a quarterback is allowed to sit back there all damn day and just kind of bounce around like he's riding a horse and then find an open man because God bless your secondary, but even Champ Bailey and Deion Sanders can't hold coverage that long.
Yeah.
And he ain't working with skill like that.
The other question I have to you is on this defense in general. Do we have one guy that you can say is a playmaker is
on defense?
Kind of feels like he's all over the field.
I mean, to be honest, I've seen it with Jared Davis at points in the season. I've seen him all over the field at times. I've seen Justin Coleman everywhere, seemingly around the ball in the secondary at times. I mean, nobody is consistently doing this. No, nobody. There's been guys who have shown it at times. Like I said, Jared Davis and Justin Coleman in particular. Darius Slay is not having a bad season. He's just not making plays because, well, they're not throwing the ball his way.
Yeah, there's
He's doing his job.
There's no one we can I can confidently say is the heart of our defense.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Which is flag number one.
Yep. Big time. Big time. You look at the good defenses, you'll find heart. You'll find the heart. Look at the Steelers' defense in the last 5 weeks when they've gone on big stretches, when they've gone on a great stretch to come back to 500. Who's the heart of their defense? TJ Watt. Dude's always around the football.
Yeah.
Always around the football. That dude is so good, by the way. That dude is so good.
We took Jared Davis over.
I know. Which, I mean, again, Jared Davis is not a bad player. I don't know quite
I'd
that
rather have TJ Watt.
Hell yeah. First off, he's a Watt. So you know damn well he was born and bred to play football and born and bred to hit people. And that's exactly what he does.
Speaking of, his brother's hurt again.
I know. That dude, that I feel so bad for him and the way his career's gone. Like, he's so good. When he's healthy, he's arguably the best defensive player in the league. And he just gets hurt every year.
You know what I feel bad for? I feel bad for Stafford.
I
feel bad for the guy that he's putting in a borderline MVP season. And
put yourself in that man's shoes for a minute. Put yourself. You're John Matthew Stafford here for a moment, okay? You're John Matthew Stafford. You go home. You got a beautiful wife. You got beautiful little girls. You live a great life, but you got to go to you got to go to work every day. And how do you feel walking into Allen Park and into Ford Field on a weekly basis?
Knowing your team sucks.
Knowing that winning is a struggle.
Knowing your GM
and has been that way for your entire career. Do you if you're Matthew Stafford, do you expect to have success on your team? Because the way things look right now, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And mind you, he's a good person and doesn't call out his teammates or his coaches or anybody. Oh boy, is he a better person than I am. I would be the quarterback that people don't like. I'd be the Baker Mayfield of the world that everybody talks trash about because
you'd be the quarterback that gets benched having a big mouth.
Yeah, basically. Because I don't have I don't have the patience like that. I have a short fuse at times. I can't do that. I can't lose for 10 straight years and just be okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you're paying me. I like to win too much. I know the dude lives a great life. He's got a beautiful family. But man, I like to win, and I'm sure he likes to win too. But he's just a far nicer person than I am, apparently.
Oh man, I think our big slap in the face. We'll talk about Bob Quinn more on a later podcast, but this drives it home. This game drives it home a bit, just in terms of Bob Quinn. Just of how he's drafted, because you look at T.J. Hawkinson and how outside of his first game, how largely he's underperformed this season, and then you look at the Raiders, who basically took Darren Waller from the third string tight end depth chart of some other team, I think it was Baltimore, and now he's a stud. Why it's so hard for us to find talent in this town it's beyond me, but we definitely need some more competent management.
No,
and not just with the Lions.
And I'm not saying fire the dude. I think he's made some good moves, and I think I at times have liked the direction he's taken the team. But clearly, a lot of what he's done is not working.
Yeah.
So, But you're right. Not just the Lions. There are some other teams in the city that you could argue need some management help. Pistons have gotten off to a struggling start.
And it's hard to point to management because we don't have management.
We don't have a GM. We have a what do they classify him as? An advisor to something or whatever? An advisor to the front office?
What is the fancy's official title?
I have no idea.
I'm going to find that out.
Find it out. And I know Arn Tellum's in there as well, but it's been a bit of a frustrating start to the season. Yeah, there's been some exciting parts, and there's been some positives, but there's definitely been some negatives. But I mean, the positives are you look at the play of guys like Derrick Rose. Granted, he's had a bad night or two here and there as well. You look at the play of Andre Drummond, who also has had a bad night here or there as well. But those are in my mind, two big positives. And yes, the team is injured right now. No question about it. We have one rostered point guard in Langston Galloway, and you can't trust the dude to play 30 minutes a game, so you've moved Bruce Brown over to that position, who was effective.
Senior advisor, basketball operations.
Gotcha. Who was effective.
Yep.
Bruce Brown was effective in his 40 minutes there, but can you really ask the dude to play 40 minutes a night? Because I'll tell you right now, if you're playing Bruce Brown 40 minutes a night at the point guard, you're probably not going to win too many games.
My question is, how long is Tim Frazier out for? Because I think Derrick Rose is just a one-game absence, but again, you can't
rely on him for 40 minutes a game either. You can't rely on him for 30 half the time.
Yeah.
And you don't want to because you never know what's going to happen with him. He's a 25-minute-a-game guy. So and we do need Tim Frazier back, but even when Tim Frazier was there, playing, and they still weren't all that successful.
Yeah.
I mean, this team desperately needs their star back.
Well, it's not because Tim Frazier's some great point guard.
It's
even
another
with Derrick
body.
Rose back.
It's a body. Is what it is.
And that's the other thing is, so Derrick Rose is a hammy, but so that could linger. But from what I at least read was he was very much a game time decision on Monday, which leads me to believe it's not going to be an extended absence, Derrick Rose. I don't know about
No,
Tim
but
Frazier,
I do think it could extend to 3, maybe 4 games just because it's Derrick Rose. You don't want to put too much pressure on other parts of his body if one's hindered, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got a fun little question for you.
Yeah.
If you could describe the Pistons' first couple of weeks of the season in one word, what would you put it as?
Already?
Yep.
No, that's...
Oh. What? Okay, fair.
No, okay.
Yes, already.
In one word?
Yes.
I mean, the obvious one would be battered.
Battered. Yeah, that's a good one. I would say...
because I don't blame it so much on their play. They have had some really bad defensive showings. But the loss of Blake Griffin is clearly felt.
I would say inconsistent. They've had some big-time ups and downs for a lot of different players in their team.
Yeah.
We saw Christian Wood have a great game one night and go out and put up a dud the next, and then a dud the next. And Thon Maker's he's been a dud the whole year.
Someone who has been consistent is Drummond, though. He's been fantastic.
He's even had his bad games, too, though, and so was Derrick Rose.
His bad game was like a 16-10.
Yeah, but that's still... But his shooting was terrible, and he turned the ball over 6 times.
I showed you, he was 8 for 12 that night.
No, I'm talking about a different game. There was another game he didn't play all that well. He shot 5 of 17 or something like that, but he still put up the numbers, but it was in a loss, and he also turned the ball over 5 times. He led the team in turnovers, if I'm thinking of the right game.
By the way, both Derrick Rose and Tim Frazier are ruled out for tonight, which is Monday night.
It doesn't surprise me. But so I'm gonna say inconsistent because I think I feel like we haven't seen everybody click on the same night almost, and that's kind of frustrating to see. You get Derrick Rose clicking one night, or Derrick Rose and Drummond clicking, but Kennard has an off night, or Kennard's on but Drummond's off, or Derrick Rose is off, or Snell's off, or somebody. They haven't seemed to be able to put it together all at the same time. And honestly, it's a little bit worrying, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting because it means that they all have the potential to do it. We just got to see it. Yeah. And this is without Blake Griffin. So we said we want him to be hovering around 500 until Blake comes back. I'm not sure it'll happen. They've lost some games to some bad teams, and they've beaten teams that I thought were pretty good in Indiana. But then again, Indiana's a dumpster fire right now.
But I'm going to stick with Drummond's been consistently good. He hasn't shot below 50% all season yet.
I thought there was a game he shot like 5 of 17.
No. His worst game, he shot 50%. He shot 5 for 10.
That's not good for a big man. Regardless, that is not good for a big man. I don't care what you say. 50% when you don't shoot outside 5 feet.
If that's his worst,
that's still not good. That's still like for qualifying centers for starting centers in the league that shoot inside 5 feet. That's like damn near the bottom.
And that was the game last week that I gave you. I said this was the one I'll mark as not a good game because that was the game that he couldn't get much done against a Philly team missing Joel Embiid.
Right. But again, that's not a good game.
Yeah.
That is a bad game. It's a bad shooting performance from a guy who doesn't shoot outside 5 feet.
But yeah, one even mediocre game compared with the other 6, I think, fantastic games he's had this season. I think I can.
But you can also argue that it's volume and a lot of it's empty numbers because are they coming in wins? No. We've always looked at Drummond as a guy who puts up empty stats.
He can't do it all by himself.
Okay, wonderful. He's also had Derrick Rose, Luke Kennard. I'm not saying he has to do it by himself, but what's the defensive energy look like? I've seen him be lackluster on defense at times as well, which has always been a big concern. Do I think he's having a great start to the year? Yes.
Yeah, he's been better defense. I mean, obviously, there's still room to grow for him. A lot of room to grow from defensively. But he has, from what I've seen, he has been better defensively this season.
Wonderful. I've still seen him take plays off, and that can't happen. And that can't happen. And again, I'm a Drummond fan. Yeah. Don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. I'm a Drummond fan. I just expect more out of him. You know, the 2020 games are great, wonderful. But if it doesn't come in a W, what the hell's it worth? You have to, with Blake out there, with Blake not out there, you have to be the leader. You have to be the catalyst. You have to will your team to a victory. I know you can't do it yourself. I know you need help. But at the same time, you got to get shit done. You got to be the lockdown guy defensively. You got to be the voice on the floor. You have to be the leader. And he's not doing that all the way right now.
There's only so much you can do with no Blake, no point guards.
Okay, hold on. They've had no point guards for one game. One game. He's had Derrick Rose or Langston Galloway or Reggie or Bruce Brown for much of the year. One game did they have to rely on Bruce Brown for 40 minutes. That's it. I know Reggie's been out, but Reggie's been terrible to start the year anyways.
Reggie has been terrible to start the year.
So what good has he been?
But no, so I'm not. I guess I should say that we're 3-4 to start the year. Am I worried? The only thing I'm really worried about is the health status of guys like Blake Griffin. Really, just Blake Griffin. I could care less if Reggie's out, but
wow. All right,
because he's
so then, what are the Pistons? What's the answer for the Pistons at point guard? Because are you going to play? Are you going to start Derrick Rose and either play him 25 minutes a game at the start?
You need to bring someone in, move some guys. I don't know, but you can't rely on Derrick Rose to be a starting point guard.
No, you can't.
Maybe for a few games, but not long term.
No, absolutely not.
So you're going to need to find a way to bring someone in because the stress fracture that Reggie Jackson has in his back is very similar to the injury Drummond had his rookie season where he missed like 20 games.
Reggie's also an injury-prone guy who takes a while to come back. I don't anticipate him coming back within. I think he's going to miss more than 20 games this year. I think you're looking at a guy who's going to play about 50% of the season.
Yeah, I'm saying so, but Reggie's out for at least next month. Blake Griffin's out for probably another month.
Yikes! Is it really that long? Or
well, they
said after November 10th.
Yeah, we've heard nothing though.
True. That is a fair point.
And part of what they said was knee, so that doesn't make me too optimistic.
I'm going to be honest with you. Part of me feels like now I guarantee this isn't the situation. I really do think the guys got it. The knee is bothering him, and I think that is why they held him out. However, part of me believes that this is them allowing him to get some extra rest and not play 80 games in the season and just play like 60 and just front loading all of his rest so he's fresher later on in the year. So by game 70 of 82, he's not falling over dead tired. You know what I'm saying? Because the Pistons overly relied on him early in the season last year to the point where I didn't know how his body was going to hold up, and it didn't. So maybe they're trying to combat that this year by just treading water for the first month or so of the season and then bringing him in to play a 60-game season as opposed to an 82-game season because that's a lot less wear and tear on his body. Without, they're essentially circumventing the rules of the NBA at that point, which, fine, cool. If that's what you're going to do, cool. You don't even have to own up to it. I don't care. Do it behind closed doors. That's fine with me. As long as dude's healthy, come end of season, come playoff time, and ready to go, I'm happy. Because we really could have used them in the playoffs last year. Granted, I didn't think it would have made a difference, but still.
Real quick, we do have some breaking news on the Blake Griffin situation. He had an interview with Shams that got published a few hours ago in The Athletic. He's basically asking how close he is to returning. Griffin said, I'm close, very close. The training staff tells me it's one day at a time. They tell me what I'm doing the next day, and that's it, because they know I'd go crazy if I have a timetable. The team has a plan. I trust our training staff. They know what they're doing, so I'm going to listen to them. So it sounds like there's no literal timetable, no actual timetable, but at the same time, he feels that he's close to going back. But again, I guess it's not his decision. So
sure sounds like rest to me.
I don't know how much you can take out of that, but
sure sounds like rest to me. No, obviously, if the team can hang around 500 for until Blake comes back, they did their job. Drummond did his job. Kennard did his job, and Kennard's had some good nights and also some bad nights. D Rose did his job. The guys, the team as a whole, were good enough to be what I asked them to do while Blake was out. And I think if they do that and then Blake comes back, I think this team can finish as a 6th seed and maybe, depending on the matchup and the situation come playoff time, maybe make some noise. But it is predicated on the health of guys like Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, Derrick Rose, Luke Kennard, all those guys. It is predicated on the health of those guys because that is the heart and soul of this basketball team right now. And it will be throughout the entire year.
Speaking of Andre Drummond, though, did you see Kevin Durant's appearance on the Player Tribune podcast?
I did, and I did see what he said about him.
Really threw some mad props his way.
He did.
For those of you that didn't hear it,
and he didn't. I think it's much deserved. I mean, I do think that Andre Drummond is one of the strongest players in the league. He wouldn't dominate the rebounding category if he wasn't. I mean, look at Ben Wallace. The dude was obviously one of the strongest dudes in the league.
Yeah. But for those of you that didn't hear it, he said he thinks Drummond could average 20 points a game if you really put his mind to it.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is he doesn't.
And I can't. Who was he with? Was it Quinn Richardson that he was with on the podcast? That was saying
I don't remember.
I think it was Quinn Richardson that was saying that he used to get in Drummond's ear because Quinn Richardson used to be an assistant coach in the Pistons. He used to get in Drummond's ear saying that he can tell when he's not giving full effort, and
he needs somebody like that. Honestly,
and he would tell him like, "I want to see you get 20, 30 rebounds. Like I want to see it." So like he used to always be like, wouldn't BS him, which kind of makes you wish that he was still there.
I do too. I think Drummond needs somebody like that in his ear because there's no secret. It's no question that there are games and not even full game. Sometimes full game, sometimes just a quarter, sometimes a half, or sometimes just a few plays here and there where Drummond's not giving the full effort. He's allowing his man to beat him. He's in La La Land, or he's not going up for the block when he should be. He's not trying to fight for that rebound that he should be on the offensive end or the defensive end. There are days where Drummond doesn't give his all every single play. And people can, come at me and say, how can you expect a guy to give his all on every single play? Excuse me. He's a professional athlete. That's his job. He's supposed to give his all every single play. Kobe never took plays off like that. LeBron doesn't take well, never mind. Yes, he does. But Michael never took plays off like that. They always gave their all, especially when the game was in crunch time. Yeah. Larry Legend didn't. So, and if Drummond wants to be, considered one of the best players in the league, especially at his position, that's a workhorse position. It's the big man. It's the anchor. He's got to be the guy that's got to bring the energy every single play. So yeah, I do expect him to give it all. To give it his all every single play. Leave it all out on the court, night in, night out. And yeah, that's all. It's not like the dude's 30-something. He's 26 years old, 25 years old? He's in his prime, man.
He's
26. Young.
He's 26.
He's in his prime. He should be able to give it all. He's in arguably some of the best shape he's ever going to be in his basketball career. He can do this. We've seen him do it. I want to see it consistently.
Real quick, you know who is? Oh, he retired. Never mind.
Who?
I was gonna say someone who, because I was looking on Real GM's list of actual current free agents, and Darren Collison was on that list. But I just looked him up.
No, he was about to sign a contract and retired in the offseason. He's about to sign, I think, with the Pacers.
Would you grab Jeremy Lin?
Yes, I would. It's a body, and it's a guy who's a veteran in the league, and he fills two positions that you can utilize. And yes, I would. I think it's a guy you can kick tires on and hopefully get something out of.
I'd rather do that than bring back like a Jose Calderon.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
No, if we bring in a free agent, I want to bring in like a young guy that.
No, I actually disagree. I want to bring in a guy that's an established veteran.
Like bring in like a Gary Payne II or like.
No, I think that's a waste, because why would you bring in a guy that has no experience in the league?
David Stockton.
No. Why would you bring a guy that has
Because they're sons of legends.
Cool, they suck. Wonderful. They suck at basketball. I would want to bring in a guy that's a proven vet.
I think I'm serious. I want to bring in Gary Payne and
I know, but I would want to bring in a guy that's a proven vet that knows what the hell he's doing on the floor, that can be a leader on the floor with the ball in his hands and make things happen.
Those are free agents.
Jeremy Lin is.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Lin. I'm looking through the list right now.
Okay, why aren't we already calling his agent? We clearly need a body. You're not playing Bruce Brown at the point 40 minutes a game every night. Not happening. I'm curious to see what his minutes number is tonight, because it was 40 last night.
Would you call up Jordan Bone?
I don't know enough about.
I think they did, actually.
I think they did technically, but I don't know enough about his current ability and status to say yes or no. He may be just he may just be too raw.
Yeah.
Like it may just not. He may just not be ready for the show. That's all. But they need somebody, very obviously. And very quickly.
He'd be fun to watch out there. I'll tell you that much.
Maybe not. Maybe he shits the bed.
I know, but I'm saying judging from what he did at Tennessee, he'd be fun. I didn't say he'd be good. It should be fun to watch.
I mean, it's not so fun to watch a player shit the bed that you're trying to cheer for.
The dude's so fast and athletic. I bet he makes at least one pretty fun play in the game.
Or he tries to and loses the ball. See, I worry about bringing guys up like that are so unproven and so raw at what they do that it's like. That's like asking Sekou Doumbouya to step into a role like that right away. Like I can't do that. I don't want to see that, because I'll look at him and be like,
Sekou, but
right. But I mean, he's still pretty damn raw. Yeah. I don't want to see that, because I'll be like, damn, like that's kind of rough. So, but anyways, I am optimistic about the Pistons moving forward.
Yeah,
I'm far more optimistic about them than I am with the Lions, to be honest. I think the Pistons are a far more well-rounded team. I think the Pistons have a lot of potential, and the Pistons are missing their best player, and their best player by far.
Yeah.
There's not even a 1 or a 1A. It's 1 and a big number, like a big drop to number 2 for probably Drummond at that point. It's a big drop. So and they need that guy back out there, because I feel like he rejuvenates the team a little bit.
Yeah.
He brings an energy. And he brings a veteran leadership out there that they desperately need. So, but anyways, anything else?
No,
that's it. All right. Thank you guys again for listening this week. Follow us on Twitter at Real Fan Report. Check out our live show Mondays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, www.twitch.tv/thefanreport.
www.twitch.tv/fanreport.
Thank you guys again. Hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything if you have any questions, let us know on Twitter. We'll gladly answer them on the next episode that releases next week.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna try to present more big questions in the Lions.
Yeah,
so
as the season moves on, we're gonna kind of go
repetitive with the way the Lions are playing. They're not gonna give us much different topics to talk about with their play. So
it does feel like a Groundhog Day scenario talking about the Lions sometimes.
So that's why we changed it up a little bit and went a little more big picture today. But
yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you again for listening. Andrew, thank you for joining me, and thank you to Detroit Sports Podcast for being such an awesome network. Check all the other shows out on there. They got some good quality stuff. Yeah. And we'll catch you guys next week. This has been the Fan Reporters. Bye, fans.
For fans.
Thank you guys again. Have a good week.
Peace
out.